Okay, we're up to the Mishnah on Lamed Amid Beis. Hold on to your hats, boys. Okay. Nachri shehilva es Yisrael al chametzai. So the Nachri is the Malva. He is the lender. He lends the money. And the Jew is the Leiva. He borrows the money. Why does he give him a loan? Because the Jew uses for collateral chametz. So the Jew is giving the guy collateral chametz to secure his loan. To secure his loan. What's the halacha after Pesach? Was it considered in the Jews' jurisdiction and it's chametz shalav of Pesach? Or do we say no, it was considered the guys already and it's mutter bahana? Says the Mishnah, mutter bahana. So obviously, despite the fact that the chametz was the Jews, at some point in time, over Pesach or before Pesach, we're going to consider it in the rishus of the guy, and therefore it's not chametz of Pesach. Conversely, if a Yisrael lends money to a guy and the guy secures with collateral the guy's chametz, nonetheless, after Pesach, asa behana. It will be what? It will be asa behana. So now, at which point in time, fellas, we have to say at some point in time, we're going to view this chametz that's securing the loan as belonging to the what? To the malva, to the lender. So Rashi gives us a little insight. Let's see, we're going to do a lot of Rashi tonight. Says Rashi, Nachu shehil ves Yisrael, mois al chemtzai, kaidem Pesach. So before Pesach, the Jew secures a loan with his chametz. For Avalava Pesach, now you would think it's asa bahana because it was the Jew's chametz. Nonetheless, mutter bahana. The Gemara later on is going to go ahead, mukila, and establish what's it speaking about. Where the Jew deposited it in the guy's rishus, and the guy was holding on to it. And since he's holding on to it, the kivin demot is mani v'lei pari, since the time for repayment of the loan comes, and he doesn't pay, and it's not considered missing collection because it's already by the guy, it's mutter. Shari etzlei nasan, igloi milsilam afreya, it shows retroactively the mishosher henu etzlei, from the time he deposited it, have a D-day. So let's go through it outside. So the guy goes ahead. I borrow money from John. I go ahead, I take my chametz. I go ahead, I take my chametz, and I say, John, listen, this chametz is going to secure the loan. If it was by me in my house, it will be asa behano after Pesach, because it doesn't belong to the guy. But I gave it to John, and I said, John, yeah, you keep it. You keep it. When I don't pay back the loan, since it was in John's rishus, he doesn't have to collect, he doesn't have to come. It shows retroactively, it was always John's. So it was always John's. After Pesach, it's mutter bahana because it's not chametz level of Pesach. Conversely, if I lend money to John and John gives me chametz to watch, right? Then it's considered in my rishus already because it's deposited by me, and therefore it's taka chametz level of Pesach because it's considered mine b'shas the loan, and therefore will be asa bahana. Those are the two cases in the Mishnah. Again, it has to be that it was deposited by, because then it makes it more like it belongs to you already at the time of the loan. We're going to get into a Gemara now, a famous machlokes between Rav and Abaya. At some point in time, we're going to bring in our Mishnah to go ahead and reflect upon this machlokes. But until then, hang on to your hats. Says the Gemara, Itmar, Baal Chayv, a Baal Chayv when he collects, Abaya Omar, L'mafreya hu goiva, do we view it? Is he collecting from the time of the loan? V'rava Omar mikan lahava hu goiva. Says Rashi, Baal Chayv hamalva es chaveroi, he lends his friend money. V'shiba loy nechasa, and his friend goes ahead and secures the loan by saying, on my property there's a lien. Shim loya parlacha ad yom ploini. If I don't pay you back from till day X, gova minichsa, you can collect from minichasim. V'gias man v'lei para, and it comes to the time and he didn't collect. So the case is you're securing the loan. At the time when you collect the security, do we view it as in your reshus from the time of the loan, or do we view it no? Only at the time of it comes into your reshus from Mikan Lahaba, from the time that you didn't pay from onwards. Abaya says you view it retroactively at the time of the loan. Rabbi says no, and from the time that you didn't pay up. That's the machlokas Abaya v'Rav. Now, Kol hecha the agdish loiva. If the loiva would go ahead, let's say again, I go ahead and I lend money to Penny, and Penny has something that secures the loan. Penny goes ahead and takes that security and sells it, right? Or he's magdish it. Kuli amalei pligi the asi malva. I can come go v'tarif and take it back. There's a lien on that property. There's a lien. And Penny, since there's a lien, he can't sell it. It can't be magdish it. You can't be magdish something you don't own. He doesn't totally own it. Why? Because it's not in his reshus, because it's handed by me. So, asi malvu parik. Everyone says that malvu can come along and be paid from hegdish. Nan moisev oidino paides and chasam elu. Gemara Mishnah in Erchin. Go ahead, add a dinar and collect. We'll skip this for until Erchin. Keep pligi when keep pligi. When's the machlokes? The zavin milva, the kaddish milva, meaning the money, the property that Penny secured the loan with. I, the malva, the borrower, the lender, I go ahead and I sell it and I magdish it. So guys, watch. If you hold limafreya, it was mine, then my act of bima got magdish it, and the sale is a good sale because it was mine to sell, it was mine to be magdish. That's a buyer. But if you hold mikan lahaba, only when Penny defaults on the loan, and at that time, right, it comes mine, then my sale and my act of kiddush did not go ahead and michal because it wasn't mine to sell, it wasn't mine to be magdish. That would be the nafkamin and halacha between Rava and Abaya. So again, one more time. Ki pligi the zavin malva. In my case, I was the lender. I sell it. The kaddish malva or I'm magdish it. Abaya amal mafrehu goiva. Even the mother's mani v'lepare. Since it comes the time and Penny defaults, igloi milslam afreya the meikara b'shusa have koi. It was in my reshus. The shapa agdish, and it was mine to be magdish. The shop is oven, and it was mine to sell. Rava Amar mikan lahabahu goiva. Why? Even the ilah havale zuzi. Since if Penny would have had money, having masal de bezuzi, he could have paid me off, and I would have no shaykhs to the property. Yishtakach tahash the kodkani. Therefore, only at this point in time am I kaina. That's the machlokes of Abaye Rava. The Gemara now is going to be in a very difficult case and ask on Rava. It's going to be in a very, very difficult case and ask on Rava. So here's the case. Here's the case. Reuven and Shimon. Reuven sells a field to Shimon b'achrayis, meaning if anyone comes and takes the field, you're secure. I'm good. I'm going to take care of you. You have insurance. He insures the sale. However, Shimon doesn't have a dime to pay for the property. So what does Shimon do? He says he writes a shtar to Reuven. I owe you money. So Shimon is buying a property that he doesn't pay for. So now Reuven is a bal chayv to Shimon in case the property is taken away, and Shimon is a bal chayv to Reuven because he didn't pay for it. Got it? So far, you guys good? Reuven, Shimon. Reuven sells the field to Shimon on achrayis, ensures it that if anything happens, Shimon can come back to Reuven. So Reuven is a bal chayv to Shimon. Conversely, Shimon is a bal chayv to Reuven because Shimon didn't give him any money for it. He didn't have any money. So he wrote a shtar that he owes him money. Reuven promptly dies. Comes along the bal chayv of Reuven, and he collects the field from Shimon. He goes ahead and he collects the field from Shimon. Now Shimon says, 1 second, I'm going to have to eventually pay for this anyway. I never paid for it. So what does he do? He pays off the bal chayv. He pays the bal chayv. the money that he should have given Ruvain initially for the sale, he's now paying the Baal Chayv. So he now has the property. The halacha is that the Yisayimim can come along and say, 1 second, you owed us money. You owed us geld. That's called metaltalin. Metaltalin is not meshubit. You don't have any, we don't owe you anything, right? You owe us. Therefore, in fact, Shimon really gets messed up because not only did he pay money for the field, they now can come and take the field away from him. They can take the field away from him. That's it then. Where's the kasha? If Shimon's a smart guy, he should go ahead and pay the Yisayimim not with money, but with nechasim, with property. And then he can go and, since I owe you because of the loan, so I'm paying the loan now with property, but your father owed me bachrayas, and now I can collect the property from you if he's a bit chacham. So bishlema, if you hold that limafreya, therefore it's considered as if what? Again, the father's dead now, but it's considered already that what? That he had a chiyuv by the father. The father is meshubed to Shimon. If it's mekam lahaba, what difference does it make if the Yisayimim collect money or they collect property? If the Yisayimim would buy property after the sale is done, they wouldn't owe a dime to Shimon. So the Gemara wants to bring a raya from there that it's Masulam Freya, as if the Shiba was by the father. Let's see it inside. Fred the Gemara, Umi Yama Rava Hachi. Does Rava really say so? That mikan lahaba? Does Rava really say mikan lahaba? You got a problem. V'ama Rami bar Chama, Ruvain shemacha sadal l'Shimon b'achrayas. Ruvain sells the field to Shimon, and he ensures it that if anything happens, he'll pay up. So now Ruvain's a Baal Chayv to Shimon if it gets taken away. But Shimon did not have any money to pay for it, and he established it as a loan. So Shimon now is a Baal Chayv to Ruvain for the field. Umeis Ruvain, and Ruvain consequently dies. The Asa Baal Chayv to Ruvain, the Baal Chayv of Ruvain comes, the Torah the Shimon, he wants to take away the field from Shimon. Now, Shimon has achrayas on the field, but he never paid for it. For Asa Shimon, Ufaisi Bezuzeh, and Shimon now goes ahead and pays off the Baal Chayv, thinking, I have to pay for the field anyway. I'll pay off the Baal Chayv, and now the field will stay by me, and I won't owe the kiddies anything because the kiddie's father owed me. Dinahu, the din is the Asi bnei Ruvain's children come along. The Amalei l'Shimon, listen, our father left by you a chayv, money that you owed us. Therefore, we're not meshubet to pay you anything. And therefore, you owed us. What is that?
You have to hit mute. You have to mute it, Rabbi Stern.
I am. I mute. Whoever it was is muted. Okay, so now, so now the Baal Chayv, they don't have a shiba to him. So therefore, Shimon will have to repay the assignment because he shouldn't have. He bought the field thinking that money he paid for the field was what would be covered by the achrayas that the father had to him, not realizing that there was no shiba to the money. It's only a monetary chayv. There wasn't any chasim that was a chayv. It was a money, and therefore they're not meshubed the pay off the father's chayv, and therefore he's going to have to pay twice. He's going to have to pay them back, and again he paid money to keep the field by himself. V'amar Rava, here's what we need, guys. The ipikeach Shimon, if Shimon's a mikeach, magbala ara, let him go ahead and pay the assignment. Again, the assignment, they have what? The assignment he has a chiyuv. Don't give them cash. Give them what? Give them land. V'hada gavale minayhu. And then you could collect the land from the assignment. In other words, you're going to collect the land from them that you give them. That's the picture over here. The Amr of Nachman, Yisayimim shegavu karka b'chayvus aviyem, Yisayimim that collect karka for the chayv of the father. In this case, the Yisayimim are collecting land for the Chia from Shimon, and Shimon owes money to Ruvain who's dead. Bal Choiv, Choizav Goiva, a Bal Chov, in this case, Shimon himself can go back the Goiva Isamehem and collect from them. Now, how does this work? If you're going to say that Shimon is considered that he's owed by Ruvain Lemafreya, that's why you can go ahead and collect. Fellas, you're collecting the chayv that existed Lemafreya when the father told you he's going to be a haroi for the property. So Ruvain was a balchov to Shimon when he insured the loan. Therefore, if that insurance takes place Lemafreya, it's like Ruvain was alive, and therefore it's meshubit, says the Gemara. However, the command the Gavi Mechayim Davu and Dami, it's like he collected from the father. If you're going to say he collects Mikan Lahaba only in the future, why can you go ahead and get from them? Fellas, in other words, if he gives them land and there's no shaykhs to the shibud of the father, but it's like you have a chayiv, 5 years after the chayiv that the Yisraelim didn't have to pay, they acquire property. You're going to tell me the property they acquire 5 years in the future, they would have to pay? Of course not. So that's the question on Rava. Rava, you say Mikan Lahaba, and you Rava, and you want to say that if this guy is a Bikeach, right? Rava, you're the one giving that advice. If he's a Bikeach, pay back land. The only way paying back land would work is only if you hold the loan was secured Lemafreya, when the father was alive, when the father was Meshubit to him. But if you're going to hold Mikan Lahaba, what difference would it make if Shimon gives the assignment cash or Shimon gives the assignment land? If he works Mikan Lahaba, the land is not mechuyev to pay the loan. As I read the Gemara on Rava. That's the kasha on Rava. Have a commanded Zavin Yasmi Nichse Dami. It's like they bought property. The Ilu Koni Yasmi Nichse, if the assignment would be kind of property, Mikam Mishtabi Lebal Chayv, would it be Mishubit to the Bal Chayv to Shimon to pay? So L'chayv it doesn't work. L'chayv it doesn't work. Says the Gemara, well, I'll tell you the truth, in fact it does work. Shiny Hassam, it's different over here. And this is guys called Shibuda de Reb Nassan. Shibuda de Reb Nassan is the following. If A lends money to B and B lends money to C, then A can go ahead and collect from C. That's what Shibuda is. So over here, it's like Ruvain lending money to Shimon and Shimon recollecting the loan. Shani Hassam, the Amar Lahoin, because Shimon says to the Yisayim, Ki hechi dimishtabadna leila avuchan, just like what you mishabed to mishabed to the father, mishtabadna nami lebal choiv davuchan. You mishubed to the bal choiv of the father, and that's me. Midr Reb Nassan, the Tanya, Reb Nassan. We're going to see Rashi in a second. Minayin lenoisha bechaverim mana. How do you know if you have a claim against your friend of $100? Bechaver bechavero, and your friend has a claim against somebody else. Shemetzim izev nashon lezeh, that you can go and give it and take it from the last one. That A can take from C. Amaleimar v'nasan Hashem asham loy, and you should go ahead and collect for the one that the Karen is by, the one that the money is by. It doesn't say the one that is nasan Hashem, the one that you lent. It doesn't say the one that you lent to, because A never lent to C in the first place. It says the one that the money is by, and since the money is by C, A can collect from C. The question is, how does this answer? So let's see the Rashi. Let's see Rashi, how Rashi explains how the Shibud Reb Nassan answers the problem. Shiny Hassam, where the lines get wide, I'm about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines down. Shiny Hassam, the Amalahu. Ki hechi dish kamishtabn lavucha mishtabn nami lebal choiv davuchim mid Reb Nassan. Loilam mikan lahaba goiva. Loilam, Rabbi says mikan lahaba, but nonetheless, if Shimon gives the assignment money, so therefore the Shimon can collect from the assignment. Shimon can collect from the assignment using Shibud Reb Nassan. Why can a Balchayv go and collect from them? Mishum the Amalahu lehen Balchayv liyasimim. Mikoyach mi basem ugevisem karkazu. Who are you collecting this karka from? Why are you the Simon of Ruvain able to collect from me? Mikoyach shibud shel avichem. The koyach that your father, the shibud your father had on me. After all, I was a borrower. I borrowed money from your father. So you're collecting this mikoyach, the shibud that your father had on me. Now, just like it's meshubit to your father, this karka, right? The karka that I collected, sheloiva me'avichem, mishtabenami lididi. It's also meshubit to me. Shayisi malva shelavichem, because I was what? I was your father. I borrowed from your father. Okay. Hilkach Kadr Shiba La. Okay, well, so now the Shimonami Amalahu. Skip one line. The Shimonami Amalahu the Bnei Ruvain. He's going to tell Bnei Ruvain. Ki heicha dahave nechosai mishubadim la'avichem. Just like my property is meshubit to your father because of the loan. Again, your father lent me money to buy this property, right? I didn't pay for it. So just like I was a balchov to your father, also mikoyach your father, he's meshubit to me. So it works like this. Since I owe you and your father owes me, then you owe me. Since I owe you, but your father owes me, so therefore you owe me. So that's why even Mikan Lahaba, over here you would be able to collect it. That's what the Gemara says. It's back inside the Gemara. Now we're going to go for our Mishnah. Tanan, our Mishnah. Nachri shehil be'es Yisrael al chemsai. A Nachri that goes ahead, and he lends the Yisrael on the chametz of Yisrael. So the chametz is securing the loan. Acha Pesach, mutter b'hana. If the Pesach, it's mutter b'hana. That would be mashma, guys, lemafreya, correct? It's mashma, it belonged to the goy at the time of the loan. Very good if you're going to tell me that you collect lemafreya. Amtula hachi mutter b'hana. That's why it's mutter b'hana. Because it was considered the goys at the time of the loan. Why? Because you go back lemafreya. If you're going to tell me it only goes mikan lahaba, not lemafreya, nimsa, it was what? It was the Jews' chametz. It should be asa b'hana. Amay mutter b'hana, rishus of the Yisrael habikoy. It's in the rishus of the Yisrael. So you have inside information because Rashi in the Mishnah. But l'chayra from my Mishnah, it's a clear raya to Abaya and a kasha on Rava. Again, the goy is the malva. The chametz belongs to the Jew to secure the loan, yet it's mutter b'hana. The only way it can be mutter b'hana is that it's considered the goy's chametz. The only way pashtus it can be considered the goy's chametz if you hold that this loan was secured limafreya. So therefore, the chayr should be a raya to Abaya. It should be a raya. Okay, says the Gemara. Hachamayaskinon. Why are we dealing with over here? Kisher hino etzlay. We went ahead and he gave it to him, and it was secured. It was in the goy's rishus. So even like Rava, who says mikan lahaba, you would go. That's only when it's by you. But since you went ahead and secured it in the goy's rishus, and the guy was like, it was by him, it's considered a gloy milsim afreya, even according to Rava, who holds mikan lahaba. Since it was by the guy, it's considered the guy's, and therefore it's mutter b'hana. Only because to do kimta that what it was kishahir hinu, it was by him, it was deposited by the guy. That's the only reason. Says the Gemara, let's suggest that the machloikis Abaya v'Rava, that whether a loan is mikan lahabo l'mafreya is in fact the machloikis tanoi. Yisrael shehilvu l'nachri al chemtzoi. The Yisrael now is the malva. He lends the goy. It's the goy's chametz. It's the goy's chametz. What's the law? Alacha Pesach eina oiver. You're not over. Why aren't you over? I would think, cause mikan lahaba, right? The loan goes mikan lahaba. Mashma, it belonged to the guy all along. It belonged to the guy until after Pesach. Rameya says, over. You're over and by your matzah. Because I would say that what? It must be Rameya holds the mafreya, and therefore it was considered the Jews, and therefore it's over on Chomesh Shavuot Pesach. My la b'hakanefrugi. Dimasavar Rameya holds the mafreya who goiva. Therefore, what? Even though it was the guy's chametz, since retroactively we consider at the time of the loan, it's the Jews' chametz. Therefore, it's Chomesh Shavuot Pesach. Umasav and the Tanakama holds, despite the fact that what that it was the guy's chametz mikan lahabo goiva, and therefore it would be ain't over because it was always the guys and not the Jews. So l'chayru we can say machlokes of Raya Rava is machlokes between the Tanakama and Rameya. Rava holding like the Tanakama and Abaya holding like Rameya. V'tizbara, I'll show you that this can't be the right pshat. I'll show you this can't be the right pshat.
I don't. Hello.
Yes.
I should have said Rava for a moment. If you go back Lemafreya and the chametz is by the guy, so how could it be Lemafreya? It's the chametz is by the guy, so it was never by the Jews. So why are you saying Lemafreya? It should not. It should not be.
Who owns the chametz, Hashi?
It's the guys. It's
again.
the guys.
Give me the case. What case are we speaking about?
Who
did the chametz? Who was the malva? Who was the leiva?
The lender was the Jew.
Okay, the lender was a Jew, so it's the guy's chametz. Good.
Right.
Okay, so now Rabbi says mikan lahaba, and therefore you're not over. Why? Why? Because again, it never belonged to the Jew.
Never belonged to the Jew.
If you would put it in the Jews, in the guy would put it in the Jews with shus, Rava would be maida in that case. That what lemafreya, because it was.
When you say put it in the rishus, when you say put it in the rishus, physically in the rishus, or
yes,
because
yes,
of the yes. All right. Okay.
Deposited by.
That's what I was missing. Okay. Fine.
Says the Gemara, v'tizbara. So guys, what nachamal? We have a machloikis whether lemaf pashtus. We have machloikis light red meya. There was the guy's chametz in the rishus. The guy's chametz. Why is it over on chametz shavuot Pesach? Because it must be when the Jew collects it, he's collecting the mafreya. So it will be considered in the Jews' rishus all along. According to the Tanakama, that you're not over, it must be because it's not considered the Jews. It remains the guys until he defaults on the loan, and then become haba. That's the suggestion that the machlokes between Abaye and Rava is the machlokes between Reb Meir and the Chachamim. Now the Gemara rejects that because of the Sefer. What does it say in the Sefer? What does it say in the Sefer? V'tizbra ema Sefer, aval nachri shehilva Yisrael al chensai. The nachri is the malva. The Jew is the what? The Jew is securing the loan with his chametz. Divrei kol oiver. Everyone would hold that what you are oiver. Everyone will hold your oiver. Everyone. Now let's ferois. You'd have to say the opposite. Liman the Tanakama the Ama Haslam Eina Oiva. The Tanakama says you go mikan lahaba. Over here he should say that what? Right? Hacha oiver. Because why? Because it was the Jews until after he defaulted on the loan. Lamanda mahasam oiver. Over there, when that was Reb Meir who said lemafreya, it shows that the goy's chametz belong to the yid. Over here, lemafreya should show that what? That the Jews' chametz belong to the goy, and you should be over. Hasan oiver, hacha ain't oiver. So memela fellas, from the sefer you see that the reisha is the machlokes between the Tanakama and Reb Meir cannot be whether mikan lahaba or lemafreya who goiva, and it must be a different reason. Because if it was the contingent upon lemafreya or mikan lahaba, if the goy was going ahead and giving it to the yid, then the Tanakamu says mikan lahaba, it should be over, and Rameya lemafreya should be ain't over because it should have been considered the guys already. But we don't say that. We say everyone says you're over. Everyone says you're over when it was the Jews' chametz. So now, Elahocha b'mayaskinon, guys, the machloikis between the Tanakama and Rameya was in a totally different thing. It was, how do you view a mashkin? Do you view the mashkin as, in other words, if you go ahead and you secure a loan, you say, listen, I need some money. Where's Penny there? Is Penny around? Yeah, Penny's there. There's Penny. I said, Penny, listen, I need a loan. He goes, Rabbi, listen, you're not such a reliable guy. I said, Penny, listen, I'm going to give you my 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie card to secure the loan. Trust me, guys, if I had a 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie card, I'd be in Florida on a beach. Anyway, so I secure the loan. Now, is Penny kind of that, or is he watching it? In other words, do we say as long as he has it, it's his? Penny's kind of the mashkin. He be chayv and achrayas and everything. Well, no, he just, it's there, and in case I don't pay up, he gives it back. That's the machloikas over here. Elahacha b'mayaskinin sheherhinu etzloi, where you gave the, again, this is the first case. It's the case where the Jew was the Jew was the malva, the Jew was the malva, and the goy was the loiva. So the goy gave the mashkin to the Jew. The Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, minayin lebalchiv shekoina mashkin. How do you know the balchiv is koina mashkin? How do you know that? Shenema lechoti et tzedakah. Guys, if you have a secure the loan, just I go. Benji says, Rabbi, I need some money. I said, here, I give you a mashkin. He gives me his pillow. So the halacha is lechoti et tzedakah. I should do an act of tzedakah. It comes nighttime, I should give Benji the pillow to lie down upon. Good. Question. Why is it an act of tzedakah? If it belongs to Benji, am I not returning to him what it is rightfully his? What's the tzedakah, guys? I'm giving Benji his pillow back. And the answer is no. I'm kind of the mashka. Therefore, it's an act of tzedakah I do when I give it back to him. That's the raya that I'm kind of. That I had that pillow, I own that pillow. As long as it's mine, I own it. And it's an act of tzedakah for me to give it back to him. So how do you know that a balchad is kind of mashkin? It says, ulachati et tzedakah. Im ena kind of mashka, if I'm not kind of the pillow, tzedakah minayin. What's my act of tzedakah? Mikan lebalchav shekoina mashkin. Now, let's take this concept and stick it into the machloikis between the Tanakama and Rameya. What was the machloikis? The Tanakama said, when the Jew lends the guy, he's not over. Says Rameya, when the Jew lends the guy, he is over. Tanakama sava hani mili Yisrael mi Yisrael. When are you koina mashka? That's Jew to Jew. Who the karina and beilachoti et tzedakah? Then it's called to you. It's an act of tzedakah. Avol Yisrael mi nachri, but the Yisrael who's koina mashka from nachri, I'm koina his chametz, right? He's giving me his chametz. Good. Loi kana says the Tanakama. I'm not koina, not because mikan laba, not because of mafreya, but the chametz that I was entrusted to watch is not considered mine, because of Yitzchak's din is only Jew to Jew. Memela, it wasn't mine, and therefore after Pesach it's mutter behana, because it was always the guys, despite the fact that I was watching it. For Meir Sava, no, Kal v'chaymer, Yisrael kani. If I'm kind of from Benji, Yisrael minachri lekol shekain, then certainly you're kind of from John that it should be yours. And therefore, if I watch the Goy's Chametz, says Rameya, I'm kind of it, and therefore it's Chametz Shavuot Level Pesach. But not because of the Mafreya, not because of Kan Lahaba, not because of Balchov, but because of the din of what? Of Mashkin. Because of the din of Mashkin. Aval, Nachri Shehil Be'es Yisrael. However, if the Goy is the Malva, and the Jew is the Loiva, Al Chemsoy, Acha Pesach, Divri Akol Oiver. Everyone would say you're Oiver. Because it's the Jews' chametz. Because Hasam Vaday Nachim Yisrael lekana. Vaday and Nachi from Yisrael is not kind. Guys, go back to the Amar Aleph. Let me stick the Gemara in. Let's go back to Amid Aleph. Lemi Kitanoi, Lamed Aleph, Amid Aleph. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines up. Lemi Kitanoi. Yisrael shehilvu l'nochri al chemtzoi. Lacha Pesach. Right? And now the guy goes ahead and he gives the chometz for the Jew to watch as a mashkin, eina oiver, because the Jew is not kind of the mashkin from the guy, but not because bal choiv mikan lahaba lamafreya. Everyone holds mikan lahaba. Everyone. The reason why he's not oiver is because it remains the guy's, because he's not kind of it. Mishum Reb Meir Amru oiver kal v'chomer. If a Jew is kind of from a Jew, he's certainly kind of from a guy, and therefore it's considered yours, the kind of the mashkin. Okay, and then the latter part, the sefer, aval nachri shehil Yisrael, a nachri that lends money to Yisrael, al chemtzei lacha Pesach. Everyone holds over. Why? Because a guy can't be kind of the mashkin from a yid, and therefore remains the Jew's chametz to Pesach. How we doing? God, that's the pshat, but not my kan lahaba. Good. Back in the Gemara. Tanan. Nachri shehilvu es Yisrael al chemtzai. The nachri is the malva. The loiva is a Jew, and he's securing the Jew with chametz. He's securing the loan with chametz. Acha Pesach mutabana. After Pesach, it's mutabana. Because nahi nami deherhinu etzloi. Even though he designated the guy should have it, ha'amid nachri Yisrael lekana. You said a nachri from Yisrael is not kaina, right? So therefore, it's now the question is, if you tell me a nachri Yisrael is not kaina, so why is it mutter bahana?
Should be us bahana because it belongs to him.
Should be us bahana. So the Gemara answers like kasha. Had the amalei me'achshav, had the lo amalei me'achshav. Depends what you said. Did you say me'achshav now? Let's do Rashi. Like kasha. Masnisan the amalei. A Mishnah says is speaking. A Mishnah kisher envetzla. He deposited by the guy. Im loy ete loy ete lecha ad yom plini. If I don't pay you until day, it should be yours from now. Hilkach nachri shehilva es Yisrael kom lechumetz b'rishus nachri, because he said if I don't pay you from now, so then retroactively the loan's going to be from the time of the loan, which is before Pesach. The Yisrael shehilva es nachri kom le b'rishus Yisrael. And therefore it would be asabahana. So Brisa deloy amalei me'achshav. The Brisas of speaking where he did not say me'achshav. El kishar mashkin nasan loy. The kovlei zman, and he's a kovei zman. Shem lo yifra loy. If he doesn't pay up, yigva choyvay mimashkoinai. V'yasam esay b'damin. Hilkach b'nachri shehilva Yisrael dibri akol, by a nachri that lends to a Jew dibri akol afilu loy parolei asa the Yisrael lahanas v'menu the chol yamos Pesach she Yisrael haya. Because the whole days of Pesach, since you didn't say me'achshav, it belongs to the Jew. The mikan lahaba goiva. Okay. The imishum there inu nachri, I be deposited by him like kana, because Yisrael's not kind. He's not kana. The guy is not kind from the yid. So let's see it inside now. So it says the Gemara, you want to know why over here that a nachri lends a yid after Pesach it's mutter bahana? It's because he said me'achshav. So since he said me'achshav, it was considered the guy is from before. And our Mishnah that said that it's asar, it said he didn't say me'achshav. So he nami de hertzleinu ha'amri nachri Yisrael lekana like kasha hadam le'me'achshav had loyam le'me'achshav. U'minot tamer the shani ben heichadam le'me'achshav ben heichad loyam le'me'achshav. How do you make a distinction? The Tanya nachri she'henu pas purani etz Yisrael, a nachri that in trust. Pas purni was a big loaf. They usually have small pitas. Rashi said this was a big loaf. It was a double chashav. A nachri that goes ahead and deposits a bed by Yisrael. It's a Yisrael ain't over. Then after Pesach he won't be over. It belongs to the guy. The Amaloi, if the guy says to him he got tich, that's lashon of me'achshav, then over. So Maishna Reisha Maishna Seifa. Allah Shmami no shiny heichadomi le'me'achshav That's a good raya. So we that's in the Mishnah that says by a goy that it will be mutter b'hana the yit chametz. That's speaking about where it said me'achshav, and that says it's also would be speaking when you don't say me'achshav. Tarabanan chanusha Yisrael u'molei shel Yisrael. You have a storefront of Jews, and the stocks, the schayra, the yayin, the shemen, whatever, the chametz, it belongs to a yid. U'parlei dachrim, and the workers are goyim. Right? Nichnasim l'sham chametz, shenimtzu sham achad Pesach. U'parlei nachrim nichnasim l'sham, and stop. Chametz shenimtzu sham achad Pesach asa b'hana. Why? Because we'll go after the majority of the Jews who own the store and the stock. We'll say it's Jewish, and we'll say it's chametz shel al Pesach. And certainly it's also b'achila. Chanus shel nachri, if it's a chanus of goyim, it was a goyish store. Umale shel nachri, and the stock is full of goyish. They own the stock. Upali Yisrael nefnasim b'yas l'shem, and the workers were Jews. Chametz shenimsa shamacha Pesach muta b'achila. Ein tzarich leima dehana. Okay, nimsa that we have machlokes between Abaye and Rava. You say this thing of machlokes. The way we're learning Pshat and our Mishnah has nothing whatsoever to do with that machlokes. Our Mishnah has to do with how you view a mashkin, and if you entrusted him to watch, and if you said me'achshav but you didn't say me'achshav. The rest will continue tomorrow.
Shkoyach, thank you.
Have a good